you joined the NWO, you turned bad guy, you turn on your tag team partner, and then you end up hooking up with Scott Norton. How long before you turned bad guy did you know you were going to?
The night it happened. We're in Salisbury, Maryland, and Kevin Nash comes in and he goes, you want to be part of the NWO? And I said, of course. So I was like the sixth or seventh guy, before it got watered down and was, all that crazy stuff. And I said, of course, dude, I want to be involved, So they lined up. And that was the night that Eric Bischoff did you got 30 days to join the NWO or you're fired. And, and then here come me and Riggs down, So, so it was just the same day, dude, and I thought it was a huge mistake because, me coming back, well, it hadn't happened yet, but during the NWO beginning, when I broke my neck in April of 98, it was like I could have came back the biggest babyface in the world. And instead, they turned me heel. I had letters from fighter pilots during Desert Storm that had my picture on the wall and would touch my picture before going out to battle. And, and then I just screwed everybody over, so I didn't have to say so, but really it was my boss had to say so. And
did people think it was fake? Did people think it was a storyline when you went, "Hey, I'm just kidding," and then turned bad guy again on Rick, I believe, Steiner?
No, they thought the broke neck was. Some people thought the broke neck was fake. And to the point where the insurance company wasn't going to pay WCW. So I had to go out and we made just a regular me and Scott Steiner interview out of it. But I remember having to go out and show him my scar on national TV. And and saying if you use it 3, 4, and 6, 7, that's not messy. You can't make one of those scars up, bro. And I remember they wanted me to do something like that, so they got their money to pay back.
What was you mentioned C6-7. What was the exact nature of the injury? Because for people who don't know, it was a botched top rope bulldog from Rick Steiner, wasn't it? So what was the exact nature of the injury? Did it classify as like a severe stinger? Was it a broken neck, a fractured vertebrae?
Yeah, nowhere near a stinger. I was much more closer to being paralyzed than having a stinger. I've had 1,000 stingers, football, baseball, 2 older brothers. I've had a bunch of stingers. This, as soon as I hit the mat, I was face down on the mat, and I was actually smothering. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't move. I'm paralyzed." It wasn't no maybe. It wasn't no you may think this. And so when Rick turns me over to go to start to pin me, because the finish of the match was he goes to pin me, Scott slides in, hits Rick in the back, puts me on top, NWO wins. And they just, as soon as I got to here, I went, I'm paralyzed. And his eyes were got that big. And he was like, keep in mind, there's live cameras everywhere. So what do we do? It is what it is, what we do. So we just kept it going, but I'm going, if you watch it back, I'm going, don't touch me, I'm paralyzed. I'm talking the whole time. You can see it, that camera view. And but Rick had needed a shoulder surgery on his left shoulder. Because when 280 pounds is coming behind you, if you don't grab and take you down, it's kind of hard to judge it, you know? So he came off and missed me. And when he did, I just tried to catch up. So at least the announcer's can say something like, you know, oh, he halfway caught him with that bulldog, you know, something like that. But as I went to him, he hit the mat and came back into me, and my head went whap that way real quick. And it was just, I was like, oh my God, I'm smothering. And he was like, oh man, he goes, they're like, you'll be okay. And they're talking to me, and I'm not crying, or it's so surreal that it just is what it is. But what happened medically is I bruised my spinal cord. In other words, when that cervical disc hit my cord, instead of severing it and me being paralyzed for the rest of my life, and your spinal cord is the exact same. Doctors told me this. It's the exact same material of like a unfrozen hot dog. So it's not too hard for a bone to go through a hot dog, you know? And so very lucky. And just, but when it hit and when it swells, you as the person that's it's swelling to, you think 100% you're paralyzed. So 2 hours later goes by. I'm duct taped down to everything. I can move my fingers and my toes, and I ain't stopping. And so after they see all the CAT scans, the MRIs, and all that stuff, I came in. He goes, he came in the room. The doctor did. He goes, all right, won't you set up for me? I went, what? I was just paralyzed just 2 hours ago. He said, trust me, I'll explain in a minute. Just stand up. So I kind of, slowly raised up, feeling everything. I can feel everything, and everything feels kind of normal. And I'm going, okay, all right. And then I stood up on the ground, and next thing you know, I'm doing my strut and I'm posing, like, what happened? He goes, and he told me about the swelling. And when the swelling goes down, then you get your feeling back. So what made me not know that was how it worked. I thought I was paralyzed forever, but I was only paralyzed for like 11 minutes, which seems like forever.
Yeah. It goes to show you, just even like routine stuff you've done 100 times before, anything can go wrong, and it's one of the most dangerous things in the world to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You touched on it before. I would like to make mention of it again. And I even wrote this as a sort of analogy to a point, is when you came back from the broken neck, you had so much public sympathy and momentum behind you. And the powers that be just put you back to where you were before teaming with Scott Steiner. And I was thinking, if they'd let you be a good guy and go against the NWO like you wanted to, like logic should have dictated, you could have been like DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, the year before, who went from sort of mid-card to just the title 2 years later. And that could have been you for the 98 version.
That's so true, bro. It's so true, too, because, you got to realize, I actually bought my lot to my house that day. I stroked out an $88,000 check that day and drove straight to Columbia, South Carolina, and got paralyzed.
Mm.
So it just, or got injured. And, but it was just bizarre, you know, how it all came down. It really was. But I could have been the biggest baby face in the world if they would have pushed it.
Who argued against you remaining a good guy?
I didn't argue it. I just didn't want. I didn't. That's the kind of stuff that I get heat for, and I wasn't gonna get heat, and I just said, okay, if that's what you want, all right, you know.
So was this an Eric Bischoff directive, and he wanted it, or do you know if anybody else was similarly pushing for that?
Sure, I'm not real sure on that. I would think Eric, played a big part in it, but I don't know.